Good morning. My name is Giovanna Massei, and I'm going to talk about something else that is not in this conference, fertility control for wildlife, contraceptives for wildlife. We are here because human-wildlife conflicts are increasing. This is a non-exhaustive list, and perhaps the best way to illustrate this list is a species I worked for more than 30 years, which is the wild boar. This is a study that we did with some colleagues. On the y-axis, you have the number of wild boar culled every year by hunters in 18 European countries. And on the y-axis, you have the time. So, as you can see, wild boar are going through the roof. We are culling in Europe millions of wild boar every year, and clearly it's not working. So the main message is, as everybody is mentioning, for some species at least we have too many. People are becoming too many. This is a map of Europe, of the human density in Europe, and you will see hotspots in Europe and in Southeast Asia. And so we need publicly supported solution. So when somebody asks me why fertility control, my answer is when lethal control is not legal, not acceptable, not feasible or sustainable, can be environmentally hazardous, or can be ineffective, or a combination of all of these. If you want to know more about different cases, come and see me later or see my colleagues. I have 2 colleagues here. For which context? That's the other question that comes up very often. Urban wildlife, typically. Iconic species. There are other species for which culling is not an option. Rewilding areas. People don't like to see animals starving. They will see them because there are many rewilding projects in Europe, and some animals are starving, and people don't want to see this. Where culling may affect behavior, sometimes culling will affect the behavior, which is a big problem if you are culling because of diseases. And also to prevent population outbreaks and to eradicate diseases. So these are all contexts in which fertility control and contraceptive have been used successfully. For which species, you name it. These are many examples of these are a few examples of the many species that fertility control has been used. Some come from my own research work, others come from colleagues around the world, but they keep multiplying. Effectively, when we have too many animals and we don't know what to do with them, and we cannot kill them or we cannot put barriers to stop their impact, fertility control is definitely an option. And finally, fertility control in practice. So we do have already vaccines, immunocontraceptive vaccines, that if you are injected with one of these, you will become infertile for a number of years. We also need oral contraceptives, and we have some oral contraceptives already available. We need more. But the immediate problem that you have with an oral contraceptive is that whoever eats the bait that contains a contraceptive will also become infertile. So we have developed systems, and here you see 2. In the center is the boar-operated system to give baits to wild boar, and wild boar only, and I can tell you more about it if you want later. And likewise another system to give baits to grey squirrels that in the UK are a non-native species. We've also made a lot of progress in terms of modeling the impact of fertility control alone or in conjunction with other methods to reduce population size or reduce the impact of animals. So in conclusions, human-wildlife conflicts will increase, no doubt, particularly in some hotspots, and we believe that fertility control alone or in conjunction with other methods might offer a tool to manage the so-called overabundant wildlife and to promote coexistence. I would like to spend my last slide to tell you more about my organization. I am the Europe Director of the Botstiber Institute for Wildlife Fertility Control. We organize events, we provide grants, and we offer education on our website and through a number of initiatives. So if you want to know more about context or species to use fertility control, come and speak to me or Stephanie Boyles-Griffin, my co-author, or Monique Principe, that is also here from the Botstiber. And subscribe, join our mailing list, and have a look at the website. The website is crowded with ideas and webinars and materials that you might want to use. Thank you very much.
Giovanna, thank you very much. Very clear, very interesting, and very quick. That's a speed talk for you. Yeah. The following speakers take note.
Is the fertility control is permanent or not permanent?
Very good question. For the vast majority of the contraceptives is not permanent. One of the interesting things that has been used on elephants, just because we are mainly talking about elephants, is that it's used on a rotational basis. So you make a few females infertile for a few years, then they become fertile again, and they contribute their genes, and others become infertile.
Questions?
Hello. Any side effects?
How long do you have? Yes. So side effects really depend on the contraceptives that you use and on the species. And you can use the same contraceptive on very closely related species like cats and dogs, carnivores, and you might have very different reaction. Generally, the contraceptive that has been registered have little side effects or side effects that are tolerable, particularly if the alternative is killing with rodenticides or poisoning or killing in a very inhumane way.
Do we have time for another question?
Thank you very much. I would like. Do you consider also the population of all these animals? Because you.
Yes, thank you very much. That's a very important question. We always say if you want to start with a new species where no contraceptive has been tested before, you do a very small scale trial in captivity. And then, so you test it on a few animals. If it works, then you go at population level. You can model it, but also it would be a good idea, or it is a good idea, to go on a population level. Ideally, if the population is isolated, even better, because you don't have immigration and immigration. But yes, population is the ultimate aim.
Thank you. How available are those contraceptives in Africa?
Very good question, because one of the things that maybe we can speak about this later, several contraceptives have been registered only in some countries. So if you want to bring one contraceptive in Africa, there are some immunocontraceptive vaccines that have been registered in South Africa, so you can use them. There is also an oral contraceptive for rats that has been registered in Tanzania. So I can tell you more about it. And then for any other country, you have to have all the permissions from that country to use it, to import it and to use it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think